The letter that arrived too late. He never thought one letter could change everything, and he certainly never imagined that it would arrive 10 years too late. It was a rainy morning, the kind of rain that makes the world slow down and memories come back without asking. Thomas sat by the window, staring at the gray sky when the postman stopped by. An old man carrying a small stack of forgotten letters. One of them had his name on it, faded ink, old handwriting, and in the corner, a date from a decade ago. He opened it carefully, as if it could crumble at the slightest touch, and then he saw her name. Elena. She had been his first love, the kind of love that leaves a mark, not loud, not dramatic, just quietly unforgettable. He read her words, each line a whisper from the past. She wrote about the small things she missed, the way he laughed, the smell of old books in his apartment, how they promised to write to each other every week. And then, the last line stopped him cold. "I'm leaving tomorrow," she wrote. "But if this letter reaches you in time, meet me at the station, under the clock." He never got that letter. It was lost in the shuffle of time, misplaced, forgotten, buried under 10 years of ordinary days. Elena left, and life went on. He built walls instead of memories. He learned how to smile without feeling. He learned that silence could look like strength, even when it was just fear wearing a mask. Years passed. He moved to another city, changed jobs, changed friends. But every now and then he'd walk by a train station and feel something tug inside him, like a ghost of a promise. Now, holding that letter, he could almost hear her voice again. Soft, playful, saying his name the way no one else ever did. He turned the paper over in his hands. There were smudges where her tears had fallen, and near the bottom she had drawn a tiny clock, its hands pointing to 7. He remembered that clock. It hung at the old station. He remembered waiting there, once, for a train that never came. Maybe she had been there that morning, standing just a few meters away, hoping, just like him, that the other would appear. Maybe she had looked at the clock one last time and realized she couldn't wait forever. He wondered what her life had been like. Did she ever marry? Did she ever think of him when it rained? When the world felt quiet and full of ghosts? The rain outside grew heavier. Drops rolled down the window like silver threads of memory. He closed his eyes, and for a moment, he was 20 again. Running down the narrow street, breathless, holding a letter of his own that he never sent. That letter still existed somewhere, in a drawer, in a box, forgotten like hers. He wrote it the night she left, but he was too proud, too scared, too young. He told himself that if she truly cared, she would write first. She did. He just never saw it. Now the irony of it all sat heavy in his chest. Two people who loved each other, separated not by oceans, not by years, but by a single undelivered envelope. He read her words again, slowly this time, as if he could travel backward through them. Each sentence opened a door to a life he never lived, a life where he showed up, a life where they grew old together. The clock on the wall ticked softly. The sound matched the rhythm of the rain. Tick, drop, tick, drop. He folded the letter carefully. He wanted to keep it safe, but not to hide it. He placed it on the windowsill, where the light could find it in the morning. Outside, thunder rolled faintly in the distance. He thought about writing back. He thought about what he'd say if he could. "Elena," he whispered, "I got your letter. It just took the world a little longer to find me." He imagined her smile, the way her eyes lit up when she laughed. He smiled too, through the ache. Sometimes it's not love that ends, it's timing that fails us. And when that happens, we learn that regret is just love that arrived too late. He sat there for a long time, listening to the rain, letting it speak for both of them. Each drop sounded like a word they never said. Each breath felt like forgiveness. Eventually, he stood up and looked out into the wet streets. He felt strangely calm, not happy, not sad, just peaceful. The letter had reached him at the only time it could have, when he was finally ready to understand it. He turned off the light, leaving only the sound of the storm. And in that quiet darkness, it almost felt like she was there, beside him, listening too. If you could send one letter today, who would you send it to?